So now here you are, you and Marika, is that correct?
Yes.
How are you trying to push back against the system, fight back, help parents in the situation?
Well, the first thing is we have peer support weekly.
Okay.
So a lot of people are dealing with PTSD, CPTSD, a lot of trauma.
CP, that would be court PTSD?
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
For those who did not know, court-induced, court-inflicted.
Yeah, so there's another name, it's called domestic violence by proxy.
Domestic, right, exactly.
A lot of people are intimate partner violence. There's so many names out there. But basically what it is when people come to us, they're so traumatized because they don't know the court system.
Right.
It's like your car needs to be fixed, you go to an ASC mechanic. And you know, okay, I got an AC mechanic, he knows everything about the car.
But you also know too that you're gonna have a big bill, and it's gonna be a defined bill.
Yes, yeah, exactly, with the mechanic. When you go to court, it's not gonna be a defined big bill, because most of them are big bills. And then some people can't even afford those bills, so they're stressed out. Well, I can't afford a $10,000 retainer. I'm a single parent. I have 3 kids. They're trying to take all 3 of them because there's dollar signs.
Right.
So we help people with peer support. We have a weekly Zoom meeting where people can just call up, vent. You know, some people just need to be heard,
right,
to make it through the day.
Right.
You've got, 22 military veterans committing suicide.
Right. The majority of them because of family issues, not being able to see.
It's a number of things. It could be court. It could be going to war. You have someone that served the country that then gets dragged into court. He's already been through a lot of trauma.
Right.
We interviewed a gentleman in New Egypt, military to the core, one of the toughest guys you've ever met.
Yeah.
Been in combat.
Yeah.
And he said nothing was scarier than the court.
Right.
This is a man who's been in combat.
Yeah. We have a guy here in Texas who said, when I was in Iraq, I lost 4 Marines. Since coming back to the States, I have now lost 12 Marines to suicide due to the courts.
Yes. So we offer just an ear. Some people just need an ear.
Right.
They just need to know that other people are going through it.
Right.
So when you have a group of people that just listen to you,
it's an abuse survivors group.
It helps. We also have weekly CPS calls. So some people don't know how to deal with CPS. Don't know how. Most people don't know that CPS can't come into your home without a warrant. They knock on your door and say, CPS, someone made a call, blah, blah, blah. We go, great, where's the warrant? People don't know, where's the warrant? Number 1. Number 2, when CPS comes in, they threaten.
Right.
If you don't do this, I'm gonna go get the sheriffs, I'm gonna go get the cops. We teach people to tell them, go ahead. Are you accusing me of a crime?
Right.
They will never say no. Then we also tell them, report CPS.
Right.
You're in your own home.
Right.
That is a stranger.
Right.
Just because they're a state employee doesn't mean they have any authority over you and your home and your children.
Right.
But they will strong arm you and say that they do. They will threaten you. They will show up with cops at your front door.
Right.
And we tell people, stand your ground, stand up for your rights, ask for a warrant, do it calmly, which is the hardest thing to do.
Yeah.
The hardest thing to do is when a stranger's standing there with 2 cops.
Yeah.
And everybody's a law-abiding citizen.
Right.
Until they go through the situation.
Right.
So now you're creating citizens that they're like, my only recourse is to not be a law-abiding citizen.
Right.
And so we just basically teach them their rights. And we're a complete support group in every state, in every province, in multiple countries. And it's just education, public awareness, education, educating about civil court of procedures. California, most people don't know what an FL-150 is. It's an income and expense report. Mm-hmm. They're like, I don't even know how to fill this out. So we help people with those forms.
Not that they even should have to.
Right? Yeah, so I mean, that kind of answers it right there. Wait, you want me to fill what out? We want an income and expense. I thought we were talking about my kids.
Yeah.
And why do you need to know how much money I have?
Yeah.
Why do you need to know where my 401k is? Why do you know how much stock I have? I thought we were here to just separate from a marriage and then get equal time. So back to what you stated before, the non-custodial. That is such an adversarial statement.
Yeah.
It's kind of like saying, have you stopped beating your wife?
Yeah.
You're not a non-custodian. I'm not a non-custodian. When we were married or when we were in a relationship, we were parents.
Right.
So they need to do away with the non-custodial term. It's adversarial. We're just parents. We're not custodial, non-custodial.
Right.
They need to do away with no-fault divorce. Again, Reagan admitted, worst thing I've ever done.
Right.
And they need to put more equality and transparency into the court system. I don't think they're going to, because again, it's incentivized.
Right. Right.
So it's our job to put the transparency in there.
Right.
And call out the corruption.
Right.
Like if we have a bad judge, we call that judge out.
Right. And what I've heard from many people and what I've seen when I've gone into the courts myself, there seems to be a lot of constitutional violations. And there seems to be judges that, first off, on certain areas, I want to know why you even have any jurisdiction. It's a jurisdictional issue to begin with, I think. If two people get married, say for example in a church, your marriage is a church-based marriage, it's a sacrament of the church. Why is the state involved in trying to destroy a sacrament of the church? Does the state ever come into a church and say, by the way, you're baptized in the wrong way, or when you give the Lord's Supper, you should be using a wafer instead of cutting it off a piece? The state can't do that. But with marriage, they somehow think that this is just marriage. We're going to take it.
Yeah.
And I think that's so. I would say in a lot of instances, the state should have no jurisdiction. The state invokes the best interest of the child, which nobody even knows what that means. It is a term that they hide behind. They say, well, there's the Hawley factors, there's this, there's that. But, we just changed the best interest of the child in Texas this last legislative. We just changed, Shazam, and it's changed.
Yeah.
So, it's, but I've heard it said that the family courts are the wild, wild west of the legal system. The Constitution, some judges will tell you, I'm the Constitution. So you don't have protections in there. And are you hearing these complaints? Because when people go through this stuff, it's like they're living in an alternate reality. And you expect to be able to trust a system that is working with integrity and justice. And yet it's like,
We had some advocates go in front of city council in Nevada, and one of the gentlemen sitting in the meeting was a judge and basically stated, I am God in the courtroom. He stated it out loud to the public. Wow, I am God.
Yeah.
That's a problem.
It's a huge problem.
That's either a mental health problem.
Right.
That's a power trip problem.
Yeah.
That is a major, major problem. And so with the constitutional violations.
But at least he was honest about it, because
Well, yeah, at least hey, I have a gun, I'm going to shoot you. Okay,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
going to try and dodge the bullet, but thanks for warning me.
Yeah, exactly.
But every day, 1st, 4th, 14th Amendment, we teach people their constitutional rights, their state rights, once you know your rights, at least it gives you some empowerment.
Right.
To know that what that person is doing to you is not legal.
Right.
Stripping you, like you said, for us to be getting excited about expanding our parenting time, that's an oxymoron to me.
Right. Like you're a parent.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was always a parent, but now somehow, because I got divorced, I'm cheering that the 90% to 10%, custodial to non-custodial in Texas is starting to get closer to 50-50. Well, the child has 100% right to be in both parents' life.
Right.
So if you're not a corrupt judicial actor, that's how you're going to rule.
Right.
The child gets both fit, loving, available parents in their life.
Right.
Now, if there's some extenuating circumstances, that there's actual real DV,
Yeah.
that there's criminal activity, well, guess what? That goes out the window.
Right.
But there's so many false accusations going around, they can't concentrate on the real DV
Yeah.
because they're dealing with so much fake DV
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
court. So it's a double-edged sword because the people that need the actual restraining orders
Yeah.
are not getting them.
Right.
I.e. Marika.
Yeah.
She did not get a restraining order.
Yeah.
She had one placed against her.
Yeah. Completely false.
Her ex is like 6'4".
Yeah.
Just the physicality of that, you're gonna have to explain to me why a little woman has got a domestic violence restraining order, a fake one, against her, against a gentleman that is 6 foot.
Right.
I mean, it's just the dynamic in the court system preaches one thing and does another.